Isaiah's made quite a transition, spending so much time, behind the plate that he said it's been something that he's had to adjust to, and offensively to see him break out and kind of put everything together tonight has to make you feel good.
Yeah, I think everybody's happy, for that. They've seen the commitment and the time and effort he's put into the catching side, and for all around. Obviously, he works just as hard in the cage, but there's so much on his plate for a younger player, and to really never have caught, and then to be put in a situation where he's basically catching every other day. It's a lot to ask, and especially with, the information that we're supplying him with, the things that we're kind of demanding of him as a catcher, and talking to Jeff, and it's a lot to ask of anybody, and, I'm really excited that he got some positive results with the bat because he can hit, and the one thing that he's always done is hit, and it's been kind of wearing on him that he hasn't really contributed like he would like to from the offensive side, so I think everybody kind of, as soon as he hit that triple, was, we were all hoping for that, and it happened. So it was good for him.
What were your thoughts on Jose Leclerc's performance tonight, and what did you think about his sigh of relief coming off the mound?
Right, and thank you. It's kind of like we obviously have a lot of players, younger players that, are having to go through some times that, they need that kind of reassurance that, okay, if I put the work in, I will get results. And I talk so much about process, but it is a results industry. We have to have results. And for him to kind of, you look at the first ball. So the first ball the other night, the guy hits a line drive to right. Maz tries to make a great play and doesn't come up with it. Well, today almost took Logan's face off, with a bad hop, but it ended up in his glove. And so that's a difference of one game to the next. One ball goes in the glove, one doesn't, and then he punches out the next two guys. So it's just that ease with which, one out, okay, now we can move on to the next guy, because he's been throwing strikes. Obviously, I think the fastball command is better. I did notice on a few of the early, change-ups, I could tell from the side there was a little bit of, kind of easing it in there, and then later on, as the inning went on, I couldn't really tell what pitch was coming, and that was a good sign, because that means he's throwing his changeup with conviction. He's throwing his fastball with the same conviction, and you could tell by the swings, guys weren't on it, and that's a good step moving forward.
What was your assessment of Lance Lynn?
He battled. He had some, difficulties in the, I forget what inning that was, gave up some runs, the 3-run inning, the leadoff bunt, the ground ball to first. There was some things there that, can kind of make it go, I guess, sideways. And he competes, man. He's reliable in that regard. He just goes out and competes every time out. I felt like he did mix his pitches. He stuck with, his fastball played up when he did that. He's one of those guys that what you're going to get every time you get out there. And, he's just reliable. And that's why we signed him. It's nice to know we have him for the next 3 years.
What are the emotions like playing against the team that drafted you for the first time? And does it get the competitive juices going even more? Or?
Yeah, I think that was more before. I think that was more, just seeing the Blue Jays and seeing a lot of those guys that I knew on that side. The Pete Walkers. There's a lot of people over there that I'm, really close to. But when it comes to the competition part, I don't care who we're playing. I want to win. But it is pretty special, obviously, talking to a lot of people on that side, especially from the media that I know really well. That's where everything started, for me. First uniform I ever put on, minor league, big league, met my wife there. Like, there's so many things about Toronto that are dear to my heart. So, it's pretty special.
You always hear it from bullpens, relievers, that, whatever role they put me in, I'm fine. And oftentimes you wonder if they're being totally honest, but with the demeanors and the personalities of your bullpen, does it seem like it's even more conducive to that and kind of what's going on at the back end at this point in time?
Yeah, I think, in crises, you kind of see who is really a team player, who is really selfless when it comes to, like, you can put me in anywhere. And I think, I have Sean Kelly, I think, to thank a lot for that, because he doesn't care. He truly doesn't care. I put him in the 5th inning, I close him, I do whatever. I can go multiple innings with him. He doesn't care. He'll let me know when he can't go the next day, and he's really honest about that. But for the most part, you can put me in, and he tells me that all the time. So when that guy is in the bullpen having the success he's having, sharing those kind of words with the rest of the group, it means a lot. And I know I can see it because I put guys in different situations, and I don't see the, I don't hear the whispers of, like, am I going to be used today? It's like, hey, you can put me in wherever. It doesn't matter. And I think that's going to help us a lot moving forward because we're not going to have a conventional, bullpen for a little while. When Jose gets back and he's ready to go, it'll be his. But for the time being, we got to, mix and match and use different, parts of the lineup. We got to be creative, I guess. And it helps to know that guys don't really mind pitching in certain situations.
I know we talked about this a little bit before the game, but on Odor, you see anything else tonight that gave you any indication of where he's at? It did look to me like he missed some fastballs that were, typically hittable for him.
Yeah, he's in a tough spot right now because it's almost getting now to the point where the pressure's on, like, mountain to just come. He's waiting for this breakout game, and it almost has to get to the point, and I know this feeling well, where you just say, who cares? You know what I mean? And I don't think he's ever going to get to the point where he doesn't care. But as a hitter, I've been in situations where it was so bad that I got to that point, and I'm like, who cares what happens today? And that's maybe where you get freed up, and all of a sudden you find a hole, and you get a hit, and you're like, oh, okay, thanks. You're kind of just waiting for that to happen. But, the one thing about Rougned is, like I said, he hasn't wavered, with his attitude, with his confidence, with his, just his demeanor. I haven't seen him sulk about it. And that's just, like I said, it's a huge testament to who he is. And, I'm saying a prayer tonight that, he'll hit a homer tomorrow and everything will just be wiped out and we can move on.